Yo,
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 147.
147. Can you believe it?
147. We got some juice
Yes.
planned. We're going to get into the stuff, but we're going to start this episode out with the good stuff.
Yeah.
Episode 150 is coming up. It's a
hmm
pretty big milestone.
Yeah.
A little bit, it's a lot of juice, a lot of
And
episodes.
to celebrate being with this nut of a co-host.
Yeah. To, celebrate being with somebody who's thinks he's so hot. Yeah. We got some let's just show them.
Yeah.
Just show them. We
Called
got
the
these things.
Death
Both of our
Nut.
cameras are inverted.
Yeah.
But both the cameras are inverted, but this says Death Nut. And what this is a box of of spicy
Yeah. The hottest
peanuts
Scoville.
that are the
Yeah.
hottest thing that you can legally buy in life.
Yep.
And we're gonna eat these. It starts with mild and then goes to like stupid hot, burn your mouth off.
Yep.
Probably going to like have to get mouth surgery after.
Yep.
So it's a challenge thing. There's 5 levels on here. Episode 150.
We're gonna die. Someone
gonna do
will die.
We're gonna do it. Also for 150, I'm gonna drive up to KC.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna do 150 live. So
Oh man.
it should be interesting. Should be a fun live. And we're gonna, I don't know, man. We'll maybe take some bets, see who taps first if we tap. I don't think either of us want to give in to the
I
other.
know.
I think we would probably just die first
Yeah.
before we did. But
Stroke out.
yeah, because you could never get over that. You know, you're just talking trash
Right.
the rest of your life
Yep.
at that point.
Pretty much.
So, but yeah, episode 150, we're gonna do the Death Nut Challenge.
Hell yeah, dude. It's gonna be nutty.
Yeah, little subtle jokes the last couple of weeks I've been,
Yeah.
throwing out there.
Yeah.
But
True.
pretty cool. All right, so aside from the 150 talk, Patreons, you got some juice for the
Mhm.
pre-show.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
little Patreon juice. So if you guys want to
Yep.
hear the pre-show stuff, hop over on the Patreon and check it out.
Yeah.
And then
PChild
Fluff's-
poured out his heart.
I actually, it's reverse of that, but yes, it did happen. And so, all right. So tell me, you got some updates on your hand, your situation.
Yeah.
thing. Okay, so tell me about it because I actually don't know. I'm a bad friend, and I have no idea.
Well, it's not the best news in the world. So I have cubital tunnel in both of my arms.
What does that mean?
So it's like a compression of some of the nerves in your elbow,
Okay.
and it can, if untreated, it can cause nerve damage and loss of control, tremors, stuff like that. And I do have chronic cubital tunnel in my left arm, so I do actually have nerve damage in my pinky and my ring finger that I probably won't be able to reverse. But yeah, so I have to 100% have surgery on my left arm, and they maybe think that relieving the pressure on my left arm will cause my right arm to like kind of get better. So hopefully I don't have to have them both, but it's a big procedure where they like cut down all of your elbow and they basically like move your nerves.
Damn.
Yeah, it's shitty.
So what's the what's the schedule? I should say. Is this, you're going to do it guaranteed?
Yeah, I
sure?
have to. Otherwise, I could potentially like lose all of my left hand control.
Okay. And then so when's the surgery supposed to happen?
Well,
Or,
I do
what's the thing?
consultation for early June, where they just basically go in and make sure that there's I guess there's a few different ways they can do the surgery, and so they just want to make sure, given my lifestyle, that they're choosing the best one, basically.
And did you get second opinions on this? You trust
Yeah.
the one guy?
Well, I mean, so I've had multiple EMGs over the years, and they all kind of point to the same thing. So yeah, I mean, I've gotten second opinions elsewhere. Yeah. But it doesn't stop there, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I also have shoulder cuff tendonitis on both sides, which I
Don't know
need
what
to
that
get.
means either.
Yeah, which is, they can't really do much about tendonitis, but you can just do like physical therapy and stuff like that. So I'll be studying that
It's
pretty
just pain
soon.
in your shoulder, right? Is that what it is?
It's just like, honestly, my body feels like a cadaver. Like I'll wake up and like I'm so tight that I can barely move in my shoulders. It's incredible discomfort, but I don't think I have pain. But I don't know. I also maybe have a strong pain threshold. Who knows?
Okay.
And on top of that, which actually I have some supporting documentation here. So I have, this is my MRI, right? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And right here is like my spine, right? Yeah. And it's like that white halo that's juicy, and that's perfect. That's really healthy. Yeah. But if you go down like 5 or 6 vertebrae, that same picture looks like this.
That's nice and dark.
So I have what's called spinal stenosis, which is like a compression of your like bones pinching your spinal cord. And there's not really much they can do. Like they say within 5 to 10 years, I'll have to have neck surgery to like relieve the pressure, but it also causes issues and twitching and stuff like that in your arms. And I don't have any plaque on my brain, so that's good, but they are still having me check for if I have MS next week. So it's just,
nice.
Great,
dude.
Great stuff.
That's a pretty fun stuff. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for the DNA. And
probably thanks video games, thanks lifting weights, thanks who knows, man.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I had some comforting things that I could tell you, but that sounds pretty unpleasant, dude. So yeah, nice recovery. You can maybe play Diablo Immortal when you're in the hospital bed, once you get your hand movement back.
Maybe.
That'll be fun.
The dream.
The dreams. Well, after that depressing news, let's go ahead and jump right into the poll. I feel like a dick. I feel like we should just end the pod right now.
Yeah.
Just be like, well, rip the new meta. Fluff is pretty much dead.
Yeah.
So.
But we're gonna go back and do the White Rim Trail this weekend, which killed me. Yeah. Last October we fell 5 times in a day after never falling our whole life. But this weekend,
that was the same one where you had the crash videos. That was a year ago already.
That's October. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna win this time. Or we'll never be on a podcast.
I'm
going alone.
Which is going by yourself.
A little reckless, but
you're doing what?
Which it's a little reckless, but yeah, I'm going by myself.
Okay. So if you wreck again and break your bike, then good luck.
Yep.
Bud. You have cell phone service out there, maybe, right? Nope. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, okay.
But yeah,
you got an extra bike?
I don't. No.
You don't? Okay. Just checking.
The poll from last week. We'll give you guys have it's final results. You can't vote on anymore. New meta podcast question of the week. What are your thoughts on a big piece of Diablo Immortal endgame being PvP focused? Option 1, Poggers mobile PvP. Option 2, Matt, give me more PvE. And option 3, don't care, not PC. Which 51% of the votes says don't care, not PC. Which, I mean, isn't surprising given our demographic.
Not surprising at all. Right.
40% says Mag giving more PvP, and 7.9% says Poggers mobile PvP. So, I mean, that's kind of what I expected. I was so surprised. I don't know about you. I was so surprised to see like such a hard focus on PvP.
I was too, man. When they, when we got the juice, they got the trailer and stuff. I was like, wow, that's a lot. I don't necessarily know that that's going to be the end game focus. I still think that that's just what they're focusing this alpha on. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't have anything to base that on. It's just my assumption is that we're gonna get a lot of PvE stuff too.
So we were able to sit down and ask some questions. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions that did come up was, is there any other like big end game activities to announce? And they said no.
Yeah, but the word announce was in there, and like Blizzard's not gonna tell us. I mean, I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong. I just don't. I don't know, man. Maybe they think PvP is the way to go.
Yeah, maybe.
Final Fantasy, there's releasing a new Final Fantasy BR PvP thing on mobile too, and I just, to me, it's like you don't have that gaming fidelity like on a mobile device to make PvP be super Twitch reaction-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't see how it works, but that's coming from a PC gamer,
Yeah.
somebody that doesn't play mobile. So maybe the market's there, man. We don't
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, I mean, it did seem, in the game in its state right now, it is definitely very PvP focused. There's a lot of PvE content to do, obviously way more than Diablo 3, which is unfortunately not a meme. That is a real fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I'm with the community here, right? Like if we're taking out the don't care, not PC option, right, which clearly won. The Meg giving more PvE. I got agree when it comes to like a Diablo game, an isometric RPG, something I'm going to dump tons and tons of hours in. I love PvP, like don't get me wrong, but I think even if like we had Lost Ark PvP and PoE's PvE, I still think I would spend probably at least 75% of my time doing PvE.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think you could a healthy balance of both is what keeps me in a game. Like so World of Warcraft is the only example I can have that I think has a good two completely different systems, like there's PvP stuff to do and PvE, and I spend a healthy amount of time doing both, and I seem to phase. I go through a phase where all I want to do is PvP, and then I go through a phase where all I want to do is PvE. But I can flip flop back and forth, and I think, especially if you're going to have long seasons or long content droughts, I think that's when the PvP really kicks in because you PvE really hard, and then you burn out on it, and then you're like, okay, now I can go PvP a little bit and test the waters there. But um, I don't know, man. It seems to be that I would think that a lot of the focus in this game is also group play as well, which is surprising to me because you would think on a mobile device, if they wanted to make this game be pick up and go, like, oh, hey, I got 5 minutes, let me do something really quick. But it seems like a lot of it is like PvP is group oriented. You need a good group of teammates with you. The raid we've seen has 48 people. You need to have other people with you and this and that. So um I don't know, man. I wonder if that's just, a tie-in to get more people to play. Like, hey, we need your buddies to play, so we're gonna make group activities where you're gonna be like, hey, come play this with me. This is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the tie-in or if it really just works that well on mobile. Maybe they just have an infinite pool of players to always random match make you. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
and then go ahead.
oh, that's it. Oh,
Okay.
go ahead for the next poll. Yeah.
The next poll
switch topics.
is kind of topical because it's something we're going to talk about a little bit. But new banner podcast question of next week: would you rather have one big juicy Diablo 4 development update per quarter, or multiple bite-sized chunks monthly? Read that out and post it in chat.
That's a good question.
Because we're at that point. We haven't seen a quarterly update. End of June is the deadline, so we've got a lot of time still.
Yeah, it's been 3-ish months since we got the last D4 update.
Because it was,
and so it's like
around BlizzCon line. Yeah.
Soon, maybe. Are we gonna get one on the last day of the quarter? Probably. If I were betting money, that's where my money's gonna go.
Agreed.
It's like, oh, the deadline's due to today at noon. Let's put it together.
Yeah. It's definitely how it felt the two before the last one. Because they waited till the very end.
Yeah, well, we knew we knew the BlizzCon one was gonna happen then. So I'm expecting this to be a long. I mean, dude, that's still basically 2 months away. We're gonna go like 5 months with no new news.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sucks not having the news, man.
Don't they know we're trying to run a podcast here? Like what?
Like, give us something to talk about, boys. A PoE? Can PoE 2 drop some juice on us too, man? Can we get some alpha love or access or something?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
I mean, there was if we're doing comparison, right? So the PoE 2, we just had the biggest announcement. What, it was like a month ago at this point. Was the PoE 2 trailer, and the last one before that was 2019 in December.
Yeah.
So
yeah, at least he
pretty big gap.
Something.
Yeah.
True. There was an investor call that happened.
Yes.
Right.
This is correct. I don't know if you ever listen to those, but I always do.
I have in the past. Actually, I didn't know about this one until today when people started tagging me and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that happened. So I didn't get time to listen to it, but I do find them interesting. I find some of the questions, the Q&A section, like hard to even like. Why are these handpicked people. It feels like it's staged questions at some points. There was the one Reddit guy that leaked in one year, but other than him, I feel like it's staged questions, man. They're like softballs.
Yeah, I think there was one question this time around that was like, can you tell us like what other games you have on the horizon and stuff like that? And it's just like, how do you expect them to answer that? They're not going to announce games inside the investor call,
other than yes, we're working on that.
Right. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's always kind of fascinating because it's so flooded with like, corporate jargon. And you just hear the same phrases like over and over again. Like the question's always like, "Hey, can you shed some color?" I don't know what it is with that phrase. I've never heard that phrase any time outside of a Blizzard investor call. Can you shed some color on blank?
Said some light on blank. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and then they constantly say momentum. It is probably one in every 50 word momentum. Like, continue momentum going into the next quarter. You're seeing a lot of momentum traction.
Do you have momentum right now is the thing. Like, yeah. So we got something that I'll bring up if you don't, that I got tagged in, and I want to get your thoughts.
Sure. But I thought, we listened to the whole thing. We listen to the whole thing every time. And I thought the only really interesting factor was because sometimes there's some juice that sneaks in there that someone maybe slips out either by mistake or whatnot, but it did seem like, we know this is not necessarily new information, but we got kind of confirmation that obviously Diablo Immortals is 100% happening this year, which we already knew. But what was kind of surprising is that they made it seem like T2R is definitely coming out first, and may even be coming out sooner than we would expect. So yeah,
interesting.
But the thing I found the most interesting about the whole call, and the thing that I found the most interesting about the past year of Diablo Immortal, is there to me, there's kind of been a paradigm shift in their message. Like back in 2018, I'm sure you remember, was there's Alan Adham, and he was constantly there saying like, "Oh, this is a Diablo game meant for your hardcore PC audience. It's a game they're going to be able to get behind. It's a true Diablo experience on a mobile device, blah blah blah." Right. And now, like, the shift seems to be, you hear Wyatt and you hear Jabs say stuff like, "Oh, this is a game that's going to reach a broader audience to, reel people in for our next, PC version of Diablo," and stuff like that. So they've definitely changed their tone. And I think that's way more, like, I think even us, right? It's like, yeah, we don't want Immortal necessarily. Like, we'll play it. We want it on PC. Like, we want a PC game, right? Yeah. But if you tell us, like, well, this game potentially will draw more people to the next true Diablo game that you're really looking forward to, like, well, yeah, that's fantastic news, I think that should have been the sell from the beginning, probably, but
yeah, they could have spun this and marketed it this way better. I think obviously they lost touch when they said that it was for PC players, because we're like, what? Like, no, it's not. This is for your mobile people, and everybody, like, everybody's got a phone, dude. Everybody has phones. There's billions of phones sold, but it's like, to me, like, I have alpha access to DI, and I've played it twice, and I really want to play the game. I just find it not fun to sit there and hold and stare at my little tiny phone screen all day. Like, it's not fun to me. And so I sit here and I want to like the game because I love Diablo and I love all stuff Diablo. So I want to be like, I want to play this awesome game and check it out. But it's like, I hate staring at my tiny phone screen, man. That's a big enough discomfort and dislike that it turns me off from playing the game. And so maybe when it comes out on emulation, if I can emulate it on BlueStacks and play on my monitor, and then I'm not squinting and, awkwardly playing the game, then cool, I'll be down and it'll be fun. But I think they missed the opportunity to port this game on PC and port this game on consoles, because I feel like they could have played the Hearthstone move on this game. They could have made a game that played on PC and console and even mobile devices seamlessly with crossplay and cross save. And then it would have been like, yo, I'm playing on my PC, and then I'm going to go jump on the couch and play on the couch. And then, I'm going to go play on the Switch as I'm, whatever. And I think that they could have. I think that could have been a good selling point to the game,
Mm.
and they still could have taken this mobile version and ported it. But think about Hearthstone for a second. And this is an argument that I've heard. I've heard people use the Hearthstone argument. People are like, "Why can't I play DI on my computer? It can be the same game. Just let me play it on my computer." And people are like, "It's a mobile game." And people are like, "Well, Hearthstone is also a mobile game that I play on my PC, and it works flawlessly, and it's the same account, and it's crossplay, and it's cross save." And I'm just like, that's a good fucking point, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah, I
I
saw
don't see.
there was this someone linked in my chat this week. There's like a mobile competitor coming out for Immortal, and they're advertising themselves from the get-go as like, this is cross-platform, you're gonna be able to play this on PC, and like that's immediately like their hook, just to rival Immortal.
That's a good hook.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Like,
I agree.
Immortal's got the IP behind it. It's got the, you know, the intellectual property of Diablo. They own the name and Sanctuary and Nephilim and all the cool things that we know. But as far as the experience goes, man, it's an ARPG. Like, somebody else could definitely pull off an ARPG that does all those things and hooks people. But I just think it's a missed opportunity, man. I think if they would have started from the get-go, even after 2018, when they heard the response from the audience, like, you got a boo from the crowd by just asking if it was going to be on PC.
Yeah.
And when the response was no, the crowd shit themselves, right? They were like, "What are you talking about?" And so that moment right there should have been like, okay, well, what if we do the Hearthstone play? What if we put it on PC and mobile at the same time? We still make it a mobile game, but it's good enough it can run on PC.
Yeah.
I think that would have been the play. It's not that though, and I don't think it ever will be. So it's unfortunate, you
I
know,
agree.
but you know, it is what it is. I want to like it really bad. I really do. And so I've played it and it's fun and it is a fun game. So I really hope that when I can play it on a big screen on PC hardware, even though it's unsupported, that it works and it's good and it's fun, because I do think some of the system, like, it's better. It's a better game than Diablo 3. And like, hands down, if it was on PC and they were like, which game do you want to play? I think Immortal is a better game. So
Yeah, and I think that I think it would have been good PR. You know, if BlizzCon Line had hit this year, and they went into their Immortal section, and then, you know, at the end they're like, guess what? You're gonna be able to play this on PC. It's gonna be on BattleNet. Like,
yeah,
I think that would have been a good play for them.
I think people would have been like, oh shit, I'm interested. People that were like, I'm not interested, would have been like, okay, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
Like,
How poggers,
I'll
like,
check it out.
if they would have just replayed my question, and they're like, as a matter of fact, yes.
Fluff's got to find a way to get himself in there somehow.
I'm just saying, like, it's a very
Do you
infamous
not have,
moment.
and then they have White go PC, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what they would have got you guys to refilm that section too. That would have been
Hilarious. And I know Wyatt's got Wyatt's got a great sense of humor about it now.
Yeah, he would have done it.
Yeah.
I don't think he was even upset at the time, man. I think he was just, you know, it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think he would have chose his words differently if he could. But
Totally.
but I know why. Like, he didn't intend. Like, I personally didn't even find it offensive what he said, because I know Wyatt. So to me, it's like, I understand what he meant, but you know, people want to blow shit up. So.
Yeah.
But okay, so I totally derailed. So we had the paradigm shift, and then also on the quarterly call. So what I was getting linked to was that they admitted that there was over the last 3 years, they've lost 30% of their active player base.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything about that, or do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, boys, that's a big ass number, man.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that's among all games.
Right.
But Hearthstone, Overwatch, wow.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, that didn't really surprise me that much, because like, it doesn't feel like, I don't really actively follow Overwatch, but I don't remember like the last time Overwatch got like crazy juice. Like, I don't remember hearing about it. I used to like hear about it because people would be excited about it. And I mean, I was just talking to an old friend again, and I'm like, hey, what are you playing this day? And he's like, Overwatch. I was like, oh, like, people still play that game? Like, it was almost like a surprise.
I thought about playing it yesterday, actually, a little bit, and I didn't have it installed. Otherwise, I probably would have. But they're like, there's time and time I'll jump in and just play a couple games. It's still a fun game, but the thing is like, it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Like, I jump into it now, and it's the same game that I played 3 years ago, 4 years ago, however long it's been out. It's like, okay, is there a new hero? Yeah, let's go test the waters and see what's up with the new hero. And like, is there some rebalancing on skills? Maybe a little bit, but like it's just like you could jump into D3. Like you could not play D3 for a year right now.
Yeah.
Come back a year later, and within an hour, you're like, okay, I know what sets are good. I know exactly what I'm gonna play, how I'm gonna grind, what pieces I need, and like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're caught up. There hasn't been enough sweeping changes. But yeah, man, and it's the same. Like, so me personally, I had a fun time with Shadowlands. I thought it was an okay expansion. I don't think that sentiment is shared across the board with a lot of people. But you know, am I playing Shadowlands right now? No. So I guess that should be a fact that it wasn't maybe a great expansion because it didn't keep me hooked in long enough. You know, the expansion dropped when November, late November, I think, and here we are. It's May, and we're still 6 months later, and we still haven't had a content drop. So
Yeah.
for 6 months, we've been on the same content. So I guess that's the issue, man. So you're going to lose players to that. You're losing your Overwatch 2. Well, I got news in Overwatch 2 actually, but we haven't heard anything about Overwatch 2 since forever. Um, Blizzard I mean, Diablo's gotten juice lately. I mean, we have the Immortal Alpha and we have the D2 Alpha, but those have been juiced to us because we got alpha access. Like if you weren't a streamer or somebody that got invited, then you know, you're just like, oh cool, I get to watch people play a game that I'm interested in.
And it's like, you know, we've also we got more D3 content than we ever have, but it's, you know, it's really late in the game for a lot of people. I think that it's not really generating that much excitement.
I've gotten a lot of flack for D3 about the season not having a seasonal theme.
It's crazy.
Like people, well, yeah, and I agree. I agree that it's still crazy, but I also agree that I'm playing Diablo and like I'm at the point now where it's like I'm not really feeling the game at this point. You know what I mean? You got to wait till next season hits.
Yep.
Like, I log in and I play for an hour, and I'm like, okay, like what am I doing? I'm grinding greater rifts, which I've been doing for 6 years, you know, and then to get gem ups to augment my gear.
Yep.
That's really it. You know what I mean? So it's like
we definitely need a new mechanic for sure. It doesn't. I always press that. I don't think that they go too far. Like, you know, I think that the season of corruption, like I've been pushing forever, I think that would spice things up much more than a follower thing. You know, it would give you like randomization and more reason to like invest your time into items and stuff like that than just like sitting there at the Reforger and just like clicking over and over and over at the Mystic, you know? So yeah, I think that there's definitely some things they could do that are easy that would affect the game a lot more than the choices they've been making. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, you know, none of us are paying any more money for this game that we paid for like literally 20 years ago at this point. And
I wish we could, though.
I know, I agree. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you.
And I'm just reiterating, like, if they would have, like, and I talked about this, God, a billion podcasts ago, but Destiny 2 funded extra content by releasing a cosmetic skin in the game. And they said, you know, they didn't say at the time, but they said later on, like, hey, this skin paid for the developers to make this quest. And it's like, if they released some wings or a portrait frame or something that I could be like, okay, here's $10, here's $15, whatever. And then later on, we knew like, hey, we're going to get some content. Like, fucking, here's my money, man. You know, it just feels bad, dude.
I agree.
It feels bad.
I super agree. But again, you know, we come back and we'll play the first 2 weeks. And I think, honestly, that's still a success at this point in Diablo's lifespan. So
I think Diablo 3 has got to be one of the best games I've ever spent money on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I say that I'm tired and I'm burnt out on it, and that's the true statement. But dude, I played it like 6,000 hours for $60. You know, it's like, WoW gets $60 out of me every 4 months. You know what I mean? And I don't play that even as much as I still play Diablo. You know, PoE got $60 out of me total, I think, you know, from the stuff the convenience things I bought. But
yeah,
I can't even, you know, I can't think of a better investment for money than D3.
I agree.
Spent in a game.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
So I think I derailed you slightly with the Diablo 3 stuff, though. We were talking about games not getting updates and the player base loss. You were going to say something.
I mean, I think that to review, like, Hearthstone kind of died down. Diablo 3, I'm not sure it really had that much of a population 3 years ago, but it's definitely, you know, died. I think that the excitement for Hearthstone, it definitely died down. And, you know, the last WoW expansion didn't hit before this one, not this one, last one, but the one before that, right? BFA or whatever.
Yeah, BFA, yeah.
So
I
that
don't think
number
this
didn't
one
really
hit that
surprise
well
me.
either. Yeah.
So
I'm not surprised either. And it's like people say this all the time. And I read this into a segment, and I'm going to get into later, but somebody referenced I was reading another game and people were upset about it dying. And in that article that I was reading on Reddit, people were saying, somebody said something about Blizzard, and people were like, Blizzard is not the same company it was 10 years ago. And like I read multiple people, and like that little
it's not
comment
wrong, yeah.
started an entire sub chain in that Reddit thread that was like 300 posts. It was bigger than the actual post I was reading. And of just people just being like, yeah, man, they used to be like top tier and now they're not, and it's Activision's fault, and like blah blah blah, and like just this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but if you think about it, man, like Blizzard used to be the company. When Blizzard was like, we got something, like you were like, oh shit,
Yeah.
Blizzard's got something. You know what I mean? And now, like, well, they haven't had something for like, what was the last something that they've even dropped? Overwatch was like the last big IP reveal. Like, what else have they? The WoW expansions have kind of missed.
Or we're not counting like games that haven't come out yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, D4 is not out yet.
Yeah.
Because it's too soon to even make a prediction if it's going to be good or not. You know.
Oh, the other one good thing that just reminded me all of a sudden that the good overall tone I got from the investor call is that they're dumping a bunch of money into devs, like a bunch of money.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is good.
That's always good to hear. Any company that says that, I'm all for it because it just means good stuff.
And it's I want to also make sure that I don't sound negative against Blizzard. I probably am coming off that way, but I wish good things for all the Blizzard IPs.
Totally.
Like there's special IPs in my heart. WoW, Diablo are like and Destiny are.
I don't think you have to sell that to our audience here. We're hosting a Diablo podcast.
I know, right? But it's like I just hope. I hope that I wish good things, man. Like I hope that they get these things turned around. And it's like because like my 3 favorite games of all time are all kind of like in this sinking ship. I feel like right now, So even
I'm kind of with you,
Diablo's coming out. Diablo's coming out a little bit. Like
for me, it's Diablo and Halo. Really, I can't really. I mean, Pee-wee, obviously. I don't necessarily feel that Pee-wee's on a sinking ship, and we'll get into Pee-wee and what's going on there later. But yeah, I definitely feel like Halo just keeps making really bad decisions, and Diablo kind of keeps making bad decisions. So yeah, I kind of feel that same.
It's just like, dude, and I want nothing but good things for my favorite.
Totally.
Like all games, but my favorite ones especially. I'm just like,
yep.
And it's funny is like I just got done playing Days Gone, which is phenomenal, by the way. And like I went back and read some reviews of Days Gone and other things, and maybe they fixed the game since it came out. But like that game was like 10 out of 10, probably a top 3 or probably 3 or 5 for sure PlayStation title ever, and probably in my top 10 list of any PC title, like any game title ever. It was that good of a game. And so like they just petitioned for a sequel to be made, and it got Sony turned it down. And I think that's kind of what started, and then the director was said like pay full price for the game, and like so it's kind of got all this press, which is what made me play it in the first place. But it just goes to show that like the reviewers and influencers of games, man, don't always nail it. And I think they can heavily influence the outcome of a game. So like let's say this Shadowlands expansion. Like if you had fun with it, then have fun with it. But just because XYZ is like, oh, this sucks, I don't like it. Like I think that too many people are relying on reviews and things. Because I didn't play Days Gone. I gave it no attention because I read reviews of people saying like, oh, this game's garbage and you shouldn't play it, And then I played it and I'm like, this game is fantastic. It's one of the best games I've ever played, So
wow.
Craziness, man.
Okay.
Just a little side rant.
Yeah. What is it?
Fluff would give it a 1 out of 10. Yeah, it's a single player game, so Fluff wouldn't like it.
So how fast did you burn through it?
It took me 50-ish hours. It took a long time,
50's nothing.
And there's still some things to do at the end game. It's a single play. It's not like like a 6,000 hour game. It's not meant to be. It's a post-apocalyptic. Have you ever heard of Last of Us or played Last of Us? No. I don't fuck.
You remember I'm your co-host, right? Like you remember who I am?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a zombie. Zombies have infected the whole world, and you're trying to
What?
survive.
I've never heard this.
Yeah.
This
It's
plot
a
line?
unique. It's a unique story. Nobody's ever done that before.
Wow.
But it's open world. The cool thing is like you got a motorcycle. You're riding around open world.
Okay.
You're like trying to find things to survive, and you're killing zombies, and it's fun, dude. It's
Okay.
a good time. So,
Right on.
would you like it? Probably not. You know what I mean? It's not PoE. So
Yeah. Is there a skill tree and stuff?
there's talent choices that then they do matter, but it's not a huge skill tree. No.
Gotcha.
All right, man. No PoE. Sphere grid.
Yeah. Rip.
Rip the dreams.
Okay.
Anyways.
So you had this DI on phone thing? What is that?
Oh, that was kind of what we already talked
Oh,
about.
okay.
DI in the phone, like Hearthstone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was the other thing too from the investor call was they mentioned, we heard this before, but Jab himself like said it. He's like, we're actively working on moving a lot of our IPs to mobile. It's a big effort for us right now.
To move a lot of IPs to mobile.
Yeah.
That's so sad, man.
I agree, man. But Candy Crush is literally crushing it. And I never even pulled up. Have you ever seen Candy Crush be played?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
My wife played it. My wife played it back in the day, but she like switched pretty quickly to another game that's like very similar, but she likes it more. So she didn't even play it. But I have seen it, and it like it's it's fuck. I don't know, man. Like there's a lot of people that like it, and so is Candy Crush is a game that I think that could be played if you're don't have to give all of your attention to a task that you're doing, and you're just like it's almost like a fidget spinner. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
It's
listening.
just like I'm gonna do these things while I match up the jewels. Like here's an example. If I'm stuck in the bedroom with the wife and she's watching like Real Housewives of XYZ City.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I got nothing to do. Could I play Candy Crush to pass the time? Yes. Am I ever in my life going to be like, yo, I need to play Candy Crush? No. But it's I'm stuck at work. On the commute to work, I'm stuck on the bus, I'm at school. I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's wild. It gave me like a very if you've been to Vegas, I assume you have.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, when you go into like a casino and it's like midday and like there's the people like sitting in front of the slot machines and they're making the noises and it's like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking sad. It gave me that same feeling watching gameplay.
I don't think it's that bad, but it's like one of those things where you have to be, to me, to play this game, I'd have to have nothing else to do but literally sit there. Like I would rather check Twitter, I'd rather watch a YouTube video, I'd rather if I already have my phone, there are other things on there. But let's just say that YouTube was down and Twitch was down and there wasn't some burning. Like my brain never shuts off. I always want to know things. Like I can always think of things like, oh, I want to Google how this works.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe just, I don't know if that's a thing that is for me, or you like that too? Like all the time. I'm always like, oh, I wonder how this works. Let me Google that.
Totally.
Let me Google this. So there's always something for me to look up.
Yeah.
But I could play it maybe if I had nothing else to do.
Yeah. Totally.
And I thought DI was going to fill that space for me. I thought DI was going to be the game that was like, okay, I'm stuck here doing something that I don't want to do, and I don't have to give it all my attention. Maybe I could play DI.
DI is just not that brain dead. Like you can't just
DI you actually have to focus on. That's what I'm saying. I thought DI was going to be that, and it's not. Like I don't think DI is that game. It's like one of these ones where you're actually, okay, I need a group of people. I'm gonna go do some PvP, or even if I'm gonna do my solo stuff, like you're focused on it, you're playing it. It's like a real,
which is so wild. The one thing that we talked about, we had Echo on, and I was like, what you're describing to me is like, okay, we're linking up on Discord and we're coordinating groups and blah blah blah. Yeah. It's like what you're describing to me is like
a PC game,
a community PC. Like it's a community driven PC game. Like I don't understand.
It's a PC game. Yeah. It's a PC game that they just make run on mobile phones. Man, it's really what it's like.
Just port it. What's the problem?
That's what I'm saying. Dude. Port that shit, dude.
Wild.
So craziness, man. Craziness. But yeah, that is sad though that they're gonna. I think I don't think like PC gaming is gonna go anywhere. I think that there's an audience that demands PC gaming and or to an extent console gaming too. But I do think that a lot of money is going to get invested in these mobile ports, and I think that the crappy part is you're going to see some of your favorite IPs get ported to mobile, and just like kind of like shits on the bed. Like here's an example: it's like Final Fantasy. They're doing a Final Fantasy 7 VR on mobile. I don't know if you've seen any of this. I
Wait,
forgot the
Final
name
Fantasy
of it.
7 BR? 7
Final
BR.
Fantasy, I think it's 7. I could be wrong. Maybe it's like all Final Fantasy characters, but I'm pretty sure it's a Final Fantasy 7 Battle Royale on mobile.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like
hold on. I'm pulling it up. I'm googling it right
first
now.
person with like a sword or something? Like I don't understand.
It's Final Fantasy 7 The First Soldier is the name. If you guys want to go look it up. It's a Final Fantasy spin-off, a mobile battle royale. And I don't know much about it, man. I just saw some gameplay and it's just it's literally it's a BR, dude. Like it's Fortnite, Apex, whatever, you know. Um so like Final Fantasy is a great IP, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like and like this doesn't do it justice, man. Like this is in my opinion shitting on Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
it's kind of
7.
cringe.
You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty horrible. And this is the problem I think I have with mobile is because you're going to get a lot of this type of thing with your favorite IPs. They're going to be like Halo BR and Diablo, Diablo Immortals got its thing, and then there's going to be like WoW Mobile and like all these things, these games that you love, and if they're not done right, then you're going to be like, well, that exists, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this shit isn't canon. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's the game. I mean, if you guys are listening to the podcast,
Mm.
Fluff's got it playing in the background. Like
Yeah,
it
I don't
doesn't
like how
it
does this
doesn't
control scheme even work on a phone? Like I don't understand this.
it's like DI, man. They
Uh,
got the buttons on the right and you're gonna touch with the left and run your character around, you know?
yikes.
Yeah. So feels bad.
Oh man.
We can't get away from phones, man.
I
Like
know.
it's the thing. They're coming, you know.
Yep. We're like we're the minority these days, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just I guess you gotta market to the new audience too though, man. Kids have phones more than they have PCs, and they have consoles more than they have PCs.
Yeah.
You know?
But in other news, Path of Exile stuffs. Okay, so this league is it's not been very well received. Ultimatum is a less exciting ritual. It is literally ritual, but with rewards you can't really predict. It's just RNG, right? Which is kind of like
Right.
their big sell. This league is like, we want you to have that feeling of blindfolding and slamming something, and that's fun and stuff. And everyone's like, yeah, but we want things to be more,
Predictable.
predictable.
Yeah.
And so one of the big creators for PoE he said he's done and stuff like that. And the video is, I don't know.
Yeah, so mad. I watched it. I
You
watched
did?
the whole video.
Okay.
Actually, I saw it. And if you guys haven't seen it, so I personally am not huge in the PoE scene. I haven't heard of So Mad before. I'm sure a lot of you guys maybe have, but I watched the video because it's always intriguing to me when somebody who's pretty successful
Yeah.
at being a Twitch streamer, decides to walk away. I'm like, well, what was the trigger point? And I understand a lot of his pain points. I think some of it was cringe and some of it was like, okay, I understand, man. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and this always goes back to the thing that we drive home, or we try to drive home as often as we can. Twitch streaming, if you're not like pretty solid on the mental fortitude, it's just, I don't think it's a good or healthy place for you to be. And it kind of throughout this video, I got that impression. It's like, well, I think he's doing the right thing.
mhm.
I think
he just has burnout.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, so this is something that I struggle with, even that's from time, is like you suffer from burnout, but when you're when your livelihood is based on streaming, like like for me, for example, if I stream Diablo 3, financially, it's so much more beneficial to me to
Sure.
stream Diablo 3 than it is to not stream Diablo 3. But from a mental standpoint, it's like when you take the thing that you love to do and then you make it your income to support yourself, then you're like, okay, so now if I don't stream this thing, I don't have money, but I really don't want to play because I'm burning out. Then you get in this weird place. You know what I mean? And I think that's where he was at. And so it kind of, anything that you're required to do becomes a job. Any job, regardless if it's the greatest job in the world, there's going to be days where you don't want to go to work, and I think that he's just at that point.
I agree.
So,
And I think he's doing the right thing based on his story here. But I also think that there's a bit of jaded, I don't know, a spoiled brat, I guess, mentality in this, because, as someone who's played, like we played Diablo, we played Diablo 3, like, and there's multiple points in the video. He's like, they suck at communicating, and like this game is just like being driven to a terrible state. The content's bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, what are we comparing this against? Like, honestly, like I get that, the game has shifted and it's not the same it was when you started playing it and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like, man, like, I don't know. I don't know of other games on the internet that do more than PoE. And
I think that happens. Like I sat back and I actually thought about this a lot with other big creators and stuff. And I think, like, if you take a look, like Ninja got exploded from Fortnite.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like, when was the last time he streamed Fortnite? It's been like a year.
Long time,
at least. And I don't follow Ninja very closely these days, but it's just like, it's burnout. Like, he burned himself out on Fortnite. The game changed from what it was, and something about having that new game, like there's something about the discovery period and the honeymoon phase of a new game that keeps you enamored. And I don't think it matters. Like, if Diablo 3 put in some really crazy end game stuff for us, what we would call crazy, like, let's just say a PoE level patch, right, where they did like just all this stuff, it would be super awesome, but it's still not going to be the same as if D4 drops.
Totally.
Because it's it doesn't matter. So I think that all just falls in burnout. Like, you played so many hours of a game. Like, how many times can you watch a movie? How many times can you watch a TV show? Like, it's totally. Nothing's the same the second time you see it or the third time. So
yeah.
But I get it, man. I'm happy for him. Like, it seems like he's cool with his decision, and
seems like the plan.
Man. I hope he makes it.
But you touched on performance. So there's a pretty good video on the internet right now. This guy does an ultimatum trial. He puts the Exalted Orb for the chance of doubling it, and then
Fluff, what's wrong with the video?
It's PowerPoint. Let me click the next slide.
Okay. Next slide, please.
Next slide.
Next slide, please.
And okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
See here. Slide F.
Slide. Oh. Yep. I wonder what he's playing on. I will say, like, I have a laptop that it's not a gaming laptop, but it's not a complete piece of garbage.
Yeah.
It's got a dedicated it's like a 960 or something in it, which is a couple years old for a graphics card, but like, it can't play PoE. I can't run PoE on it. It'll run WoW at 60 frames with like mid settings, like 60 frames solid locked. It'll run Diablo 3 solid 60 frames locked. It'll run GTA 5, which is a 2013 game. It's older, but it's kind of a beast to push at times. So it's a shitty old computer. I put PoE on it, and it literally is like 10 frames. It's unplayable. I'm like, how is this a thing? Or I can't play PoE on this laptop?
Definitely feels like PoE is getting worse in the performance department. It definitely feels that's the case. I don't know what their plan is there. If we'll just continue to see degradation until PoE 2, or I'm sure they have to know, because it's like, I'd say 30%, 40% of Reddit right now is performance.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, but that's what D3 is like right now too.
That's
Lag,
true.
lag, 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 lag.
Crazy
You
lag.
know, it's
Yeah.
like every other post
And
on
we're not
Reddit's
even getting
about the lag.
content. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I don't know, man. And it's like, people are blaming Windows, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if it was a Windows issue, then how come
How's it so
every
universal,
game I
right?
have
Yeah.
isn't running like shit? You know what I
Right.
mean? So, and how come if I fix the audio, like, I don't know, man, it's weird. I really hope that's a huge focus with D3. And PoE also, like PoE runs great on my system, but everything does. But it would be nice to be able to bust out my laptop and maybe, grind a thing or two.
Yeah.
Because PoE doesn't feel like a game that needs cutting edge hardware to play, but it does, man. It needs like a pretty decent system to even run, you know.
Yeah, man. It's pretty up there. And it doesn't graphically it's just not that impressive, but
Yeah, you
it
look at it and you're
is
thinking like, oh, I can
it's
run this
tough.
on my old
Yeah.
piece of shit.
It is
But
tough on the old computer.
they should port it to Switch. That's what they should do. It could run great on Switch.
Sure. One positive piece of news before we get into another kind of negative thing that I just added last second. But PoE Ninja, like one of my favorite sites for PoE is PoE Ninja. Okay. You can just like look at people, like if you're like, I really want to try Venom Gyre, and you can just like search for Venom Gyre and you look at like a whole plethora of people that are trying Venom Gyre, and like they've got some ideas, and you're like, ooh, like what if they didn't think about this, but what if you comboed that with that? And like it's just really fun. If you're trying to think of like a really new and creative build, you can just like go look at a bunch of people, and there's great filters, and it's a fantastic website. But they just recently added a like kind of a daily showcase of like builds and stuff. So like every day it's gonna like cycle through characters that are like level 80 to 80 set or something, 90 something, and show you like just some new stuff that maybe you haven't tried, and they're gonna like rotate
it. Is it like filtering out like all the meta, or are we just gonna get if it's random, you think you just get a bunch of meta people, right?
Yeah, there's definitely meta in it, but there's also
There's
not
some non-meta too. Yeah. I used PoE Ninja when I was looking up like clusters and things like that. I'm like, what do these guys go with? And that was a really good tool.
Yeah.
Because some of the guides that what I was looking at them, I'm like, well, I'm not really sure exactly what they mean here as a noob. So let me see what people are actually running.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. It was cool to check leaderboards and see power level, and then try to filter out like, why is this guy so juicy, or why is he using this or that? Like,
right.
It was cool. So.
And then right as we started the podcast here, PoE made a tweet. And they've released a new microtransactions, the cursor pack.
I saw this, and I was actually thinking like, oh my God, they're charging money for cursors now, but it's free.
Is it?
I believe the high contrast one is free. I don't know if they're all free. But like, are they gonna MTX? Dude, if they fucking MTX the interface, I swear.
Yeah, this is a cursor pack, so I don't think this is free at all.
Is it? Somebody posted that there's a high contrast cursor now that you can get for free from the store. Maybe somebody can confirm in chat for us if that's the case or not. But that's what I read. I was on Reddit, and I read it on Reddit that it was free.
Yeah, cursor pack, 100 things.
But the other one's not free for the high contrast one. Maybe they were memeing and I just didn't get the meme.
This is it.
That's horrible. One free, pay for the others. All right, so there is a cursor one that's free. Okay, yeah, it's the high contrast one. Yeah, man, that feels bad, dude. I don't know. I think that's pretty disgusting, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Twitter kind of agrees. Like, Cute Dog right here saying cringe. Valerie May's been like, this is pretty gross.
Yeah, I think that's pretty disgusting. I think that's I think that's bad. If they MTX a UI, I swear, dude, I would.
You would buy it instantly.
No, I mean, I would want to
MTX PoE 2, right? Like, just play PoE 2 earlier.
Well, that's fine. I would pay money to play PoE 2. I think if they did a pay option and then there wasn't any microtransactions, then that'd be cool. Like, I would rather PoE be a $60 title personally, but I don't know if it can financially support what they're doing.
I think the days of pay to play are dead. I don't think they should do that.
I agree with you. I don't think that you're wrong saying they're dead. I don't think that's the model that I like, though. Like, Like here's an example of it is Destiny has seasons that come out every couple months
Okay.
and they're $10 for a season. I bought the latest expansion. I logged in, I started playing the latest expansion. I bought it late. I didn't buy it when it dropped. I bought it like a month or two after. I log in, I start playing it, and then it like gives you the first hit of the content for free, and then it's like, yo, now you got to pay money if you want to do more of that. And like I didn't realize that was the thing. But I'm like, wait, I just bought this expansion, dude, and you're already trying to get me to fork out 10 more bucks to
Yeah.
buy more. Like it felt really bad.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. But it's a free to play game, I guess. Like, it's not really. It's not really. It's like you can play some things for free. PoE has a really good monetization scheme, I feel like, but they do hold you hostage. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I feel like they hold you hostage because you really can't play PoE without some of the convenience things that they put in the game. Like, could you play the game with no stash tabs? Yes, you could technically. But would you?
I mean, I
Realistically?
think once you're to the point where you're like, I really understand this game, and God, wouldn't it be so nice to have the currency tab? Then you're vested.
Yeah,
And you
but you're
probably
held
should drop
hostage
some
because
much.
it's not. I mean,
I
I
don't know.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it, man. Like I'm all about supporting the devs, and I think you should. But I think that you're held hostage. You're like, man, you got a really good game here, but every season, every couple months, you release a new currency. I got to buy a tab for it, more than likely, or this or that. And it's just like, let me just give you $60 and get it over with, and then like here, now just give me the fucking tab every season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even if I don't get the cool cosmetics, just give me the functional things that I need to play your game. Like, so like what if here's an example. What if PoE put in next league, they put in some new game mode, but you couldn't play the game mode unless you paid and bought the game mode
Like people
access.
freak the fuck out.
Yeah, that's what Destiny did, and it's stupid as
Yeah.
AF. But and I think PoE is good because they don't do that. But I just don't like, man. It's like I
Yeah,
don't
this
know. I'd
definitely
rather
walks that
just pay
line,
the 60
I think.
bucks,
Yeah.
you know?
This one's
So
kind of weird to me. At the end of the day,
yeah.
like, I don't really care, but at the same time, I get why people are upset.
Yeah.
For me personally.
And PoE definitely, like the free to play is really cool though because it lets you invest in a game and see if you want to spend your hard-earned money on it. Like, and I think that's totally cool. Like if you can jump in and play PoE and level your character, go through the campaign, get to max, all that stuff. And then you're like, yeah, you know what, man, this game's pretty kick-ass. I think I'm gonna spend some money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be like, yeah, man, this game sucks. It's not for me. And peace. And then you didn't spend money. And I like that. That's really cool. I just wish that there was an option to be like, okay, this is like a $60 title. Let me give you that. And then now at least just give me my stash tabs that I need for life, or let me unlock them somehow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cool.
But like mouse pointers, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. But in other news, you had some stuff. What is this?
Oh yeah, Overwatch is gonna get some juice. Apparently, they're gonna drop a 2-hour gameplay trailer and talk about the PvP updates. We talked about Overwatch earlier and how we haven't heard anything for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
they're finally a 2-hour gameplay trailer is like, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot of gameplay to show off. So
Yeah.
they must have some things they're ready for us to see. You and I played Overwatch 2 at BlizzCon 2019. I gotta say, man, I was super unimpressed.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, I mean, I was ridiculously unimpressed.
Instantly bored.
Yeah, I quit the demo. Like, literally wanted to walk away from the demo before I even finished the mission.
But we felt the same thing about Shadowlands too. We were really bored with that.
It makes sense on Shadowlands because you're not invested in those characters.
Yeah.
Those aren't your character. You're not gonna keep the loot you get and you're questing. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what I mean? But Overwatch 2 is like a pick up and play game. Like, there's, you're not grinding your character. You're not getting loot. Like, you're just doing missions and stuff. And it was pretty bad. So it was one of the things I was pretty excited for, and I was super disappointed really quickly with it. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of excited. Like, I like Overwatch, man. I think Overwatch is a fun game. I'm excited to play it and see what they're gonna do with it. Hopefully there's some juice in here that's cool and amazing. Surprised this didn't drop before the investor call though.
Yeah. I have a hard time playing Overwatch just because it's so team oriented. Like I always burn through like a new season or something like that. Like and the ranks will be low, and then as soon as you can start playing some decent people, like and your team's terrible, you just get effed.
Yeah, you can't competitive unless you got
Yeah.
teammates.
And
You have to
Halo,
have a
like
group.
it's the same to an extent, but like as a really good player, you can still do okay
You can carry a little
against
bit.
like really decent teams. But
Have
in
you played the
Overwatch,
new
I feel like
arena
it's not.
mode in Apex?
No, I haven't. You
It's
DM me
good,
about it, and
man.
I haven't tried it
Yeah,
yet.
it's good. It's fun. It's like the best things at Apex all squished into one mode. So you go into they took CS:GOs. Like, have you ever played CS:GO where you have you
Mm-mm.
buy stuff before a match starts? Have you seen any games that do that? Like, you have a set amount of currency,
Yeah, I've seen
and
that.
then
Yeah,
it's like if you want the better guns, they cost more. The weaker guns
yeah.
cost less, so you can maybe get more. So in Apex, you had to buy your guns, and
Cool.
they had the prices, and then buy your abilities as well. Like, you don't even just get like your ultimates; you have to pay currency if you want
Mm.
them, and things like that. So, and then you just start the match, man. There's like no looting. There's no looting, no running around forever waiting for a fight and losing, and then starting a new game. And you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's a round based arena elimination. Like, you can get downed and still get rezzed. If you get knocked, you're out. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right
So
on.
I like it.
Cool.
Sounds like Valorant. Yeah, I think it is. I haven't played Valorant, but I think it's similar. So that's pretty much it, man. Do you have some hates this week?
Yeah, actually. So recently, over the past few years, I've had some falling out with friends, and I've kind of recently like discovered kind of some of those reasons because I never really knew because no one would
Yeah.
like talk to me about like what was going on. And so that's my hates, man. Like if you have an issue with someone and like they're your friend, like and you just ghost them, instead of like talking to them about like, hey, this is the thing that's bothering me. Like that's so fucking cowardly to me. It just makes me want to scream.
What did you get ghosted for, man?
Like my neighbor, you met Chris.
Yeah, he ghosted you. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he didn't. Well, yeah, kind of. But
I know why. I know why he ghosted you though.
you do.
Yeah, you want me to tell you? I already know just from meeting him one day.
Why?
Because you bossed him around, man. You controlled Chris. That's it, wasn't it? You
No,
were bossy.
not at all. No,
Oh, okay.
I made fun of his brother too much, and like he felt like self-conscious about because we kind of share a building, and I would always be like, oh, let's go over to like the shitty house, but like I'm just making fucking jokes, I'm like, me for 20 fucking years, and now you're getting offended by my jokes, like get the fuck out of here.
I mean, some things, it must be insecurity that he had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, you take your insecurities a little bit worse.
Totally.
I can see it though. I mean, you got a shit talky sense of humor, man. Like
Mhm.
that's just your style. So like, it used to piss me off at first when we first, like, I'm not gonna lie. You said like, like you would talk shit in your streams, and then people would come tell me about it.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And then so I would be like, what the fuck? And then so then I would like go, I'm like, well, the way that they would tell me, it would be like you were talking shit for real. And so I would go look at your stream, and I'd go find the section in the VOD and be like, oh, that's not that bad. Sometimes I'd be like, what a dick. So then I just started doing it back, right?
Yeah.
But then as time went on, like I understand, like it's just you. That's just playful banter, right?
Yeah.
But if I could see that, man, I could see
Sure.
you pissing people off.
But that's, like it's like you getting mad at me for that like 15 years from now kind of thing. Like that just doesn't make fucking sense.
I mean, sometimes you push the envelope, man. Sometimes you got back off.
Hell yeah.
Did you tell him like, I'm sorry, bud? I love you, right? Like,
Yeah, of course. I mean, I always leave the door open. Like I recently had a friend that like reached back out because like years ago he got offended by something that happened one night. I was like, hey man, like I hope that everybody knows I'm never malicious, like ever when I'm making my jokes. It's just like I see opportunity to make a joke and I make a joke. It's life's short and I like to have fun. So yeah, I mean, I always leave the door open.
Somebody pantsed him and you made comments on, his manlyhood and that, upset him. I get it. You can't do that, dude.
Sure.
Things gotta leave alone. Yeah. So normally I try to have some loves, and it's been movie reviews lately, but I gotta go with some hates this week, man. they announced the Burning Crusade Classic pricing schemes, and man, it feels bad. Like they completely they missed the mark on this so bad, in my opinion. So I'm gonna reiterate really quick in case you didn't know. So Classic's been out for a long time. Classic launch was horrible as far as like just so many people wanted to play, the servers couldn't handle it. But Classic was pretty good. It was Classic. They stayed true to Classic, and nothing really changed. And it was, I think, overall success. TBC, they're going to sell a $70 deluxe edition of the Burning Crusade Classic.
Okay.
And so what you get for the $70 is you get a mount that never existed in Burning Crusade, which they already didn't do that with Classic initially. They kept it Classic. So already they're adding a new mountain. Is that the end of the world? No, not really. But I still dislike it. It's like, man, come on, dude. And then, so you get a mount. You're getting a free character, not free. You're getting an included character boost pack, which is $40 by itself. So that's where 40 of the 70 is coming from. Which boost one, you can do this one time on an account. You get one level 58 character boost. And then that character also gets the mounts, or gets a mount or something. And initially they thought it was going to give you the epic riding skill for free too. So it was like a pay to epic riding skill, but apparently that's been debunked and they're not doing that. And then it's $40 for the character boost and $35 to clone your classic character and keep him classic forever. So like, let's say, for example, my priest that I played in classic. If I want to keep that character as a classic character, I have a decision to make. Either A, I keep him classic forever and I got to roll a brand new character for BC classic. Or B, I play that character and then he is no longer a classic realm character only. He just continues to move forward. So if I want to have the best of both worlds, I got to pay $35 per character to keep a classic copy.
Do you think that there will be people to play classic still after BC?
I'm sure there will be some, yeah. And there are people that rated like all of the tiers of classic, and they have all of the legendaries and all of the things. Those guys are 100% forced to pay the $35. They've put so much time.
Well, wouldn't you, like, a new expansion comes out and you get the boost to 50? Why? And you're instantly outgear yourself. You gotta pay the boost. You gotta pay for it. But like, why would you not make a new character anyways? Because that character is like,
if you bought the deluxe edition, you would get the boost.
Yeah.
But otherwise, so like me, as your normal pleb that's not gonna spend extra money on it because I think it's BS. I don't get any boost. I don't get anything. I have to make a new character, or I have to keep playing my one that I already have. And then so all that rating gear, all that stuff I have is just like retail WoW now. It just goes in the bank and it sits there forever and you never use it again. You know what I mean? Which is cool, but that's not really. So the reason that they have a clone a character price associated in the first place, in my opinion, is because if they didn't, everybody's going to do it. Every single person is going to be like, yeah, I want to keep my character. Why not? Why shouldn't I do it? And they'll clone their character. And then so now Blizzard has to have twice as much data stored. And they have to be able to figure out how to handle the realms if those weird people decide one day to just eventually play, and like how to consolidate servers, right? So I get that there's a price tag associated with it. But $35 is too steep. Like $10 maybe, 15 tops. But 35, like you're just literally copying a character profile and pasting it in a different database. Like $35, that's nutty.
That migration costs money.
I mean, I guess. I don't think it's $35.
Someone's got to click a button, dude.
Yeah, or you could automate it completely on the back end. But hold on one second. And there was some more I want to
you talking about this Venom trailer?
Yeah, man, the Venom trailer is good too. We can hit it. So anyways, I'm pissed off at the TBC prices. I think it's a money grab. I think it's a super money grab, and it just feels bad. So
yeah,
there's a new Venom trailer that came out too.
Yeah, I saw that. What did you think?
Yeah.
I think they're definitely better trailers. I think the movie will be fine. I didn't necessarily I wasn't in love with the original Venom movie. Like, it was okay. I do love the concept of Venom. Like, he was by far and away like my favorite Spider-Man villain.
He
But it
wasn't
does
even a
seem weird they're
villain all
keeping
the
him
time, though.
so detached, from like the rest of the universe and stuff like that. I think
Yeah, it's
that's
because
really
it's
interesting.
because of movie rights,
Yeah, I know.
though. It's not and that's the shitty part of this whole thing is like how cool would it be to have Venom in the MCU?
Yeah.
With some MCU love and money, budget, trailers, directors, all those guys. Um, yeah, I thought the Venom movie was okay. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was like MCU quality.
Yeah.
Good. But this got a nice cast, man. Tom Hardy is like one of my favorite actors. Like anything he's in, I'm a fan of, man. I
He's
like it.
overrated, but yeah.
No, I like him. I think he's cool. He's like super short IRL. He's
Yeah.
like your size.
What do you mean my size?
He's like 5'6" or something.
I'm 5'10", you rat.
Yeah, I'm just playing. I think he is like 5'7" though.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise? Short.
Yeah, he's like a short dude, man. I think they just play up because I didn't figure that out until he was played Bane in Batman, and I was like, wait, but then they had the things like Christian, like had him on, like they had to angle the cameras funny and stuff to make him seem taller than Christian Bale all the time, and it was weird. So.
Yeah, Tom Hardy is, he's got one of his front teeth are longer than the other. I see it all the time, and I know I always think of Tom Hardy, and I always think of like, wow, he made that third Batman movie like awful with his stupid fucking voice. But yeah,
I don't know, man. I didn't hate it. I liked it. I thought it was okay. And then Woody Harrelson's in there. I mean, I like Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I like Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
He's been a fan of mine forever.
He's been a fan of yours. Wow, he watches.
He's a fan of mine. Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I've been a fan of his forever. He's a fan of mine though. He comes and hangs out in the stream. Man.
Yeah, that's sweet, dude.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's probably gonna suck. So, but I'll watch it.
Yeah.
We'll officially give that ratings after it comes out, and then we can,
we can have a whole separate pod of just movies and shows.
I'm telling you, dude. Let's hit up some Twitter questions, though. If you guys want to submit some questions to the podcast, you can tweet at ThaPChild or at Lord__Fluffy, or you can join our Discords and throw them in there. First question we got today comes from Keyray. He said, Healthy Gamer GG is a mental health streamer. He's been doing some high-profile interviews. Would you guys ever consider doing a show with him?
What was the guy? What's his name?
Healthy Gamer.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him too. Sure, man. If he invited me to do the show, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where the conversation went. I think I got a pretty good outlook on things, but I wouldn't say that I'm like the guy that should be given super healthy advice for people. It's like I fucking decided to take a job that barely provides income to support myself.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to explore there, and I think you should talk to somebody, P.
Let's talk about it. That's what the pre-podcast show's about. We confessed our hearts out.
True.
So if you guys are coming in late to the podcast, Fluff and I announced at the beginning the Death Nut. Boom, the Death Nut. This is a Death Nut challenge. These things have Schofield ratings of like 100 million. They will literally just burn a hole through your mouth. There's 5 different levels. Episode 150, we're going to do the Death Nut challenge. I'm going to drive up to KC and hang out with Fluff. We're going to do it live, and we're going to see who taps first.
Day is that? I should probably look.
I don't know. It's a Tuesday. You're going to be able to...
The 1st? Is that July 1st? Because next would be 48, 49. July 1st?
48, 49, 50. Yeah, it would be the 1st.
Cool.
You're going to be able to, like, fudge work somehow?
I am getting back the night of the 31st.
From your MRI stuff?
No.
I'm not babysitting you after your surgeries, bud. Is that what the whole ploy is?
I'm going to Florida that weekend.
Oh, nice.
Let me see when I get back. Anyways, continue.
All right. So, 150 is going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, I would do shows if, they invited me. Why not?
I'll be back midday. That's fine.
Midday on the 31st?
Yeah.
Nice. Demonic Grizz says, thoughts on Blizzard losing 29% of their player base in the last 3 years? I think we talked about that a lot in the pod, but it sucks for Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either of us found it that surprising.
Yeah. They haven't had that Blizzard magic, man, for a while. They need a new release, and they need a new, really good, polished, ready to go, tested release. Maester Magus says, would you rather know the exact time and date of your death or the exact cause of your death?
Mm, cause
Hmm.
the day is just like it's too finite, and you're like, damn, I only have 30 days left. You know?
I wouldn't want to know either.
Yeah. The cause,
I
and then
wouldn't.
you'd be like, well, if I die from a heart attack, like let's just be really healthy and
Yeah. Or
can we
like
fight
if I
it?
die in a car crash, then you're never gonna get in a
Yeah,
car.
stay out of
Every time you
cars.
get in a car, you're gonna be like, is this it? Is this the day? Is this the time? So yeah, no, man, I wouldn't want to know either. Like, I
Yeah.
would if even if they were like, we'll give you $10 million, I still would be like, nah, dude, I don't there's some things you just don't want to know. And that for me, that would be one of the things on that list. Like, no, don't tell me, dude.
Yeah.
Don't want to know. Unless it was like really good. If they're like, oh, you're gonna
Yeah.
live to be 110.
For
Then I'm like,
you,
fuck you.
it's
Yeah.
July 1st.
Yeah, it totally is July 1st. We're gonna have 911 on speed dial
Yeah.
because I don't know. I've never eaten anything this hot,
Really?
you know? I don't think so. Does it actually have the Schofield ratings on the thing?
Yeah. 13 million.
13 million. 13 million Scoville rating. Like what the actual I'm pretty sure that's like fucking kill you, man.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, we might die on the pod that day, but that's okay. Like it'll be entertaining, right?
Yep.
So um let's see. CatFap says, what's the worst item in D3 and why is it COE?
Yeah, seaweed definitely burns people out, but if there's
Seaweed was
more
a great
items,
item when they added
yeah,
it.
if there are more items to choose from, seaweed wouldn't be such a problem. I mean, as a necro main, funerary pick comes to mind.
They said somebody else commented right after that, like Fluff's gonna pick funerary pick. You might as well just ask P.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Item
mean,
drives me
any
nuts.
legendary that doesn't have a legendary power comes
Yeah.
to mind. Like, why are they even legendaries
Yeah.
then at that point? Like, it's honestly that blows my mind. It's like they made a list of items that they were gonna make legendaries, and then they just ran out of legendary ideas or time to code them. So why not just make them yellow again? I don't know. Named yellow items that are just like for show. I don't
Totally.
know, but yeah, all of those. Um, COE sucks because we're burned out on always using it. I would even beg to differ that like Bane of the Trapped is probably following in that COE category where you just use it in every build ever. It's like, oh, are you dealing any kind of damage? Okay, put in Bane of the
More
Trapped.
damage.
So
Yeah.
you only get 2 gem choices usually at best, and it's always Bane of the Trapped is taking one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I almost isn't playing a necroman for so long. Like you forget like how when you're playing other classes and you like say you upgrade a fist on a monk, there's like a 5% chance you're gonna get something good, which is wild. Playing a necro for so long, you like upgrade a scythe and you've got a 75% chance to like get something amazing.
Yeah.
So it's wild playing those old classes of so many bad items.
And their powers are so powerful. Like that's so powerful for necro comparatively. It's just nutty how easy necro's got it easy. It's no wonder you like to play.
Gearing wise, it's got it easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the squishiest class in the game.
Yeah. Let's see. Amico says, what would you date somebody named Alexa or Siri?
Of course. It'd be fun. It'd be an opportunity for jokes.
I mean, all the time.
I remember I watched
can't even
this.
say it because mine starts to go off. So
I watched this. I don't even remember what the video was. It was like 3 years ago. It was like funny Tinder profiles or something like that. And the girl's name is Jenny. And she goes, "You get one Forrest Gump joke. Use it wisely."
that is good. Yeah, man, it would be endless. You could be like, I'm just gonna say Eliza because that doesn't trigger mine. So I say like Eliza,
Right.
what are you doing? Or like, yeah, hey, what's like? You could just all
Like,
day,
oh, I wasn't
man.
talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you. No.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like Siri's kind of an unconventional name. I don't know if I've ever seen that on a person. I think the better thing on that is like, what if that was your voice? Like the lady that did Siri for the longest time. Could you imagine the fun you could have with that? If you could like call people and just, talk a little robotically and be like, you have 5 minutes to, this is Apple. Like you could just totally screw with people.
Totally.
Hex says, what's the biggest lie that you've ever believed? I mean, I don't think a girlfriend's cheated on me, but if she did, like, guess I'm still
I fell
believing
for
that
it.
one. Fell for it, got me. I don't know if I've told the story before, if this has come up in context before. You can cut me off if I have. I remember in high school, I had a girlfriend lie to me about Blair Witch Project. Was that the one where they were stuck out in the woods?
Mm-hmm.
It came out and when we were senior, or like when I was senior in high school. And so I had a girl. I didn't know anything about the movie. I didn't even know it existed until we're like buying tickets to go into it. And my girlfriend at the time was like, "This is a true story. This is a true story." And I'm like, it's not. No way." She's like, "Yeah," and told me this whole thing. And so for like the movie, I believed that it was real until I'm like, "There's no way," But I definitely believed the Blair Witch thing going in, and it actually made the movie much better because I thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost embarrassed to even admit that
Yeah.
I watched the movie and thought it was real.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, when I split up with the last two girls I split up with, like it's been like, oh, we're gonna stay friends, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, like, but like, oh no, this is gonna be different. We're gonna stay friends, and I'm like, all right, I fell for it.
You fell for the lie.
24 hours later, they fucking hate my guts and they blame me for everything. So,
well, I mean,
yeah.
You can't listen. Your friends are mad at you. Your exes are mad
My
at
friends.
you.
Okay, the stupid part about all of that, right? The friends getting mad, right? And I don't even I'm not even mad that they're mad. But if say I'm making fun of your brother all the time and it's bothering you, you should say, hey, back off about the brother jokes, man. Right? Like it's easy.
Yeah. Why is his brother like?
He's the most socially awkward guy you could ever fucking meet in your life. He's just around all the time.
Yeah, I get it. Like there are some things that are off limits. Like so for me, like here's an example. You say mom jokes all the time. Okay. And my mother recently passed away. I don't get upset when you say something. Like
Right.
it does, like to me, if you said that around my brother, my older brother, he would fucking want to fight you like instantly.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "What did you say about my mom?" And like, so you just got to know people's trigger points. You know what I mean? But I would be like, so if we ever, if somehow, some way you're ever around my brother, I'd be like, "Yo, Fluff, no fucking mom jokes, all right? Like, listen, I don't want, So.
I'm good around strangers. I would never make a fucking joke that was.
But you would make a joke
strangers.
about mom jokes to me, and that's still his mom. You know what I'm saying?
There has been a lot of times where I have made oh, your mom, and I'm like, oh, right. But then I almost laugh even harder a little bit
because you're fucked up and you think it's funny. Got it. And it's totally fine because I make girlfriend jokes to you all the time. Exactly. But I do it specifically just to be a dick because it's fun. So, I'm like, she probably dumped you and you're lying to us. But that's okay.
That's it.
So, you can't admit that on stream. I wouldn't either, just like, listen, peace.
No, threw away like a parking ticket.
Yeah. Can't have it anymore. That's it, man. That's all the questions that we had this week. If you guys want to submit the questions again, man, hit us up on the Discords. The links are going to be in the comments below. Follow us on Twitter if you're already not. We post funny things. Like you could have already known about Fluff's tendonitis that he's got going on in his elbows and shoulders and his old man body.
If you want, you can even follow on Instagram team. We're pretty active on there.
I'm not, but
When I say we, I mean me.
Yeah. It's the what? That's it.
Easy.
We'll catch you guys next week. Again, this is 147.
Yep.
150 is the big boy.
Yes, sir.
That's coming up quicker than I thought, man.
It is.
Catch you guys next week. 148.
Peace.